think it's all that Arteta knows. You know, since he's had his team and he's brought in his guys, that is his philosophy. Yeah. But look, who am I to question Mikel Arteta? I really love him. I think he's doing a great job. But when you've got Ben White as a right striker and Calafiore as a left striker, and they're actually on the ball, they're not the guys you want in those positions sometimes.
This is going to happen a lot this year. When we have so many options, we're all going to disagree on who should play. If we have an average win or a draw or a defeat, it's going to happen again. We could always play somebody else, and we never had a squad like this before.
I just think when you've got a centre forward, right, who, like Gyökeres, you have to have someone close to him. I was really surprised that we didn't recognise that, Clive, and do something about it.
I don't really see it working with Gyökeres unless Arteta changes it, but I don't see Arteta changing it.
Hello, I'm Adrian Clarke and welcome to Inside Gooners, sponsored by talkSPORT. Well, Arsenal's 2-1 win against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the weekend was far more dramatic than anybody expected, and here to digest that and all of the Christmas fixtures, I'm delighted to welcome Clive Palmer, and making his debut today is Christian Ty. Hello chaps, how are we?
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
Doing all right.
Yeah. Let's start with you then, Clive. We just had a quick word off air and you told me that you didn't enjoy the game. Can you expand on that, please? I don't think you were the only one.
Yeah, I feel almost terrible for saying that, right? Because you should enjoy every game. I love my football a lot. I just didn't enjoy this game. There was a lot of casualness before the game. Everyone was expecting like 5-0, 6-0. And within 15-20 minutes, it wasn't transpiring in a stop-start to the game. And suddenly you realise this is not going to be very easy. And it just sort of changed. And so the expectations what I had, even though I'm not one to be overconfident, I just thought we'd be a bit more alive. And then when the game started, you realise this is going to be really hard work. And it turned into a really hard afternoon. But hey, that's okay.
It was a grind, that is for sure, Christian. Should we start with the team selection? Because I think we all love Mikel Arteta. We're all, very proud of the work he's done. But did he get the team selection wrong? Because when I looked at the makeup of the team, especially when you look back on the game in hindsight, I could pick apart quite a few of his selections. What did you think?
You could argue that it was wrong. I don't think any of us expected Saliba to start. No. I expected Lewis Skelly to play at left back. I don't think you needed two defensive-minded midfielders in there, which probably was going to be your point. I don't think you needed Rice and Zubimendi. No. I definitely would have played Odegaard and Eze. Just get the creativity flowing. We saw it against West Ham. Yeah. The game that Odegaard got injured in after 20 minutes, obviously did his knee. He started Odegaard and Eze in that game. If you can do that against West Ham at home, why can't you do it against Wolves? But yeah, like Clive, I expected it to be a lot easier. Obviously, after we watched Man United beat them 4-1, I was like, okay, we're going to score. It's going to be free flowing. They were awful, but it was a very different game. Yeah. Wolves actually came out and had a go against Manchester United. It was 1-1 at half time and then got destroyed in the second half. And obviously they came to the Emirates, didn't set up the same, actually just sat back. At one point it was a 7-3 form, back line of 7 with the kind of 3 in front, and just held on. And you got to give them credit, to be honest. They defended well. I don't think we showed much quality apart from Saka in that first half. A few balls across. You can question, players being in the right positions. I think Gyökeres a few times get across the man. You've got to tap in essentially, not quite in the right positions. And eventually we've got the job done. But yeah, on the team, I actually said, and this is going to sound crazy, I actually said before the game I thought it was too strong.
Right.
Maybe too strong is the wrong phrase, but I would have played Miles Lewis Skelly. And maybe you could have put a Norgard in, or you could have played 2 attacking midfielders. I think Madueke maybe deserved to start after midweek. I didn't expect Rice to start. I didn't expect Saliba to start, but we got the job done at the end of the day.
Look, where I'm coming from with it is that everyone was a little bit out of position, as in Hincapié at left back. Once the change happened, obviously we were all disappointed that Ben White went off, but once he goes off, you've got MLS in his right position, Hincapié, Saliba and Timber. It just looked better, and I'm completely with you on the makeup of the midfield. I think Wolves at home, you only really need one of Rice and Zubimendi, and it was a missed opportunity in terms of resting one of those guys, as far as I'm concerned. It didn't work brilliantly in that West Ham game for the first 20 minutes. But that doesn't mean that we've got to cast aside that idea or notion, does it, Clive? Because
No.
Manchester City are doing it at the moment. They're playing 5 attackers and they're creating a little bit of chaos. And I just felt that we had 0 chaos in the game, and that was the problem.
I know you love your chaos, Adrian. So when the team lines up, I'm thinking, okay, I'm happy Saliba's back and Timber's back and Rice is back, because they were doubts pre-game. So I was okay with the 11. As soon as we kicked off, you see Hincapie wide centre-back, Saliba central, Timber right, and White up the pitch. Right? So I'm thinking, okay, that's what his plan is. But the thing is, like you, I'd rather see Odegaard up the pitch. Do you see what I mean? I'd rather see an attacking midfielder up the pitch. And I remember the West Ham game when we did the 2 attacking mids, and it didn't work. And Zubimendi came on and was man of the match, wasn't he, afterwards? But I think this was the time to say, let's impose ourselves, attacking-wise, on you with attackers. Not having fullbacks high up too early or Declan Rice high up too early, standing in spaces, which is great, but really, are we offering enough in attack? And then, obviously, on transition, having to sprint back.
Yes.
And that causes problems. So, for me, with this deep squad, this is going to happen a lot this year. When we have so many options, we're all going to disagree on who should play. If we have an average win or a draw or a defeat, it's going to happen again. We could always play somebody else, and we never had a squad like this before. This is going to be a challenge for all of us, really.
There's a lot for Arteta to think about, no doubt about it. On what Clive touched on there, the Ben White position or the Jurien Timber position, we are seeing the fullbacks play like inside strikers at times, aren't we? And I thought against Aston Villa, that was absolutely the wrong way to play, because they're a transitional team that can really hurt you on the break, and then we have no fullbacks in position. Because at one point in that Villa game, we had, I think, would have been White inside right centre forward and Calafiori was inside left centre forward. We lose the ball. Is it any surprise that they're creating chances? Do you think that the structure of the team needs to be just tweaked a little bit?
I think it's all that Arteta knows. You know, since he's had his team and he's brought in his guys, that's all he's done. You know, it started with Zinchenko, then Ben White was inverted. We've seen Tomiyasu invert at times. Calafiori is his guy now. Miles Lewis-Skelly, they all invert. That is his philosophy. But look, who am I to question Mikel Arteta? I really love him. I think he's doing a great job. But like you just said, at times, when you've got Ben White as a right striker and Calafiori as a left striker, and they're actually on the ball, and they're expected either to put the ball in the box or have a shot, they're not the guys you want in those positions sometimes. I'd rather Trossard on the ball there, or maybe Declan Rice, or Saka inside, or Odegaard, or Eze. Like the positions that Eze was picking up against Spurs, that is where I want him all the time. And I think in this, just go quickly back to this Wolves game, he was dropping too deep for me. You know, you had Rice as almost the one that was a bit more forward in that kind of left 8 channel. And Eze was way too deep, and it was kind of leaving that 10 space a bit empty. And it just became easy for Wolves to defend, you know.
It completely did.
Just mark Gyökeres out of the game. There was no one in that half space in between. And we weren't creating much.
I just think when you've got a centre forward, right, who, like Gyökeres, who he doesn't run the channels, he doesn't move away from that centre forward spot as much maybe as some of our alternative options, and he's marked by 3 centre halves, you have to have someone close to him. And I don't know whether you saw Eze's sort of chalkboard after the game, but his chalkboard was very right side heavy. It was basically played the Odegaard right side, number 8, and I was really surprised that we didn't recognise that, Clive, and do something about it.
I've been thinking about this a lot, Adrian. This is right. This is my problem I have at the moment. At the start of the year, we were much more thinking as a group about playing against unsettled defences. So everything's round the corner quite quickly, and we were playing in what I call pairs, in 2s. So Timber and Saka together, Calafiori and Trossard together, but Eze and Gyökeres together. Rice and Zubimendi together, right? So we are playing in pairs, which means we can always see where our other pair is, and we take responsibilities accordingly. So we're much more connected. When we move to this wide triangle system with Odegaard or Eze, it doesn't really matter, and Rice out to the right, I think we're more vulnerable. I don't think we're as connected. I don't think the roles are as easy to see. when rotations work, no one cares,
No.
right? But when they don't work and you don't win, everyone starts to think about the structure. And I think I want to go back to a more simplistic play where our number 10 is closer to our centre forward, who's trying to settle into the league. You know, so that's a topic on its own, no doubt, Adrian. and play together like that. And the left-hand side look much better with Calafiori and Trossard and or Eze on occasions, and the right side's top, right? So I want to get back to that structure of pairs rather than wide triangles.
Yeah, Christian, I'm going to put you on the spot here. This is a difficult question, but if there's only room in the tougher games for one of Ødegaard and Eze to play as that support striker, who gets the nod?
That's tough.
It's quite a mean question.
It's first time here.
No, it's a tough question. Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. Are you asking my opinion or what I think Arteta would do?
Who would you pick?
I would still go for Martin Ødegaard.
Okay.
I think I've seen it from him consistently in an Arsenal shirt. Maybe not over the past 12, 18 months after his injury. But I think some of the best football we played 22-23 and 23-24, he was playing in that role. I've seen us, beautiful patterns of play, assists, 15 Premier League goals. I've seen him be that guy. And I've seen him, be our captain, look like, consistently week in, week out being our top 3 performing players. I've seen Eze have moments, hat-trick against Tottenham, great assist against Man City. I think was it Nottingham Forest where Calafiori puts the ball over, assist against them. He's had great moments and obviously played very well for Palace. But from what I know from this Arsenal team, who suits the system better, I think it's Martin Ødegaard, because it's not just a guy that wants... If this was... Who would I put in that 10 position?
Yeah.
If Arteta's instruction was just stay in that 10 position, it would be Eze.
Okay.
But that is not Arteta's instruction.
No.
Arteta's instruction is drop deep.
But should it be his instruction?
Well, it's not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be because he wants it more fluid.
But we saw it with Mourinho and Eze as twin false nines, right? So it's not that much difference if you've got Gyökeres there and just someone closer, Clive. I mean, if you're going to play as that 2 up front kind of thing, it has to be Eze over Ødegaard, even though I agree with Christian's points.
Christian's point is, if you're talking about who's like the player that's done it for us and who's our captain, etc., Ødegaard's a man every single time. His talent is really, really good. He's had a rough year or so, but we all know his level that he can reach to. But he does have a tendency to follow the ball. And he drops in and he follows the ball. He likes to feel the ball. That's when I'm in the game. I've had my 20 touches. Let's go. And while he's doing that, he's separating away from the centre forward. So on that specific question, if you want to have somebody closer to the centre forward, Ødegaard, that discipline's not in his game at the moment, and I don't think we want it to be neither, the way that Mikel wants to play. And so actually, I was going to throw a spanner into the works.
Okay.
Well, I think Eze for that central role is really, really good. No one's form is great at the moment. They need a rest, right? Let's be honest with it. But, I think Mikel Marino is a really good player that's really performed for us, right? So, and I really like him with the football. I think he's intelligent. I think he knows where to be. I think he's a goal threat in first phase, second phase. And I think he's in a conversation for that position as well. But it all depends on our style and how we want to play. If we want to play the Ødegaard style, well, no one's better than him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you want to play a support striker style, then we have a discussion to have of what that player is, who that player is, and who the striker is. So...
Oh, the style debate. Because it brings us nicely really to Victor Gyökeres, doesn't it? Because if he's going to be the guy up front, and I think I don't think it's locked in that he has to start every game, but we've bought him to be that guy. What should the style be? Should it be the Ødegaard style that we've just referenced, or should it be a bit more direct? One thing I really noticed in this game was the lack of variety in the passing. We barely played a single long pass. Now, what we did earlier on in the season, we were drawing teams in and going bang, and it was working fantastically well. It was creating a bit more space for someone like Gyökeres to run into. In this game, because we played the horseshoe of doom, side to side, no one really making those penetrative passes. He made 3 passes in the game, Victor Gyökeres.
I think he had 4 or 5 touches in the first half. But
So what should the style be, Christian?
I don't think Arteta's going to change for him. I think it's going to have to be him changing for Arteta in the system. If you look at what Manchester City do, to get Erling Haaland in the spaces he gets in. They make the pitch very small. Their defence and their attack is in the two lines are actually quite close to each other. They suck the other team in, get them high up the pitch, and then Haaland makes the runs in behind. And if it's Gyökeres or Foden, whoever it is, Reinders, they put that ball in behind. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to put it in the back of the net. Did it against us.
Yeah.
You know, Saliba and Gabriel sucked up the pitch. All of a sudden, he's in behind. He's got the pace and he can finish. We're not going to do that. Arteta is obsessed with control. He wants to control games, which is why you see in games like this against Wolves, he plays 2 defensive-minded midfielders or more possession-based midfielders rather than creative midfielders. Which is where I question maybe the signing in the summer. Was it the right profile? I wanted Victor Gyokeres because I wanted a goal scorer. I wanted someone that can put the ball in the back of the net. I've seen Kai Havertz miss too many chances. Jesus was never brought in to be a goal scorer. He's a very good player, but he's not a finisher. So it's in my mind, I don't really see it working with Gyökeres unless Arteta changes it, but I don't see Arteta changing it. So what Gyökeres is going to have to do is drop deeper. And he's not going to be a goal scorer. He's going to have to drop deeper because exactly. But if he's got no one in that 10 position picking up the ball in between the lines, there's going to be no creativity to him. And if teams continue to sit back against us, and they're on the edge of their box, how's he going to run in behind?
What's the
it's
answer?
just not going to happen.
What's the
So
answer, Clive?
it is a style discussion. It is one, and you like the word chaos, Adrian, and we have a laugh about that. And I like the fact that we want to play against unsettled defences.
Yeah.
So we need to create a form of chaos, right?
Yeah.
To do that, the ball has to go early. If the ball goes early, Victor Gyokeres is a footballer. If the ball goes slowly, he might as well be sitting here with us.
Yeah.
Honestly, because he can't. He's now trying to be part of the group. So what are you trying to do? Okay, they're all knocking it about. Let me show my feet. Let me show my boots. Can you knock it to me? They're ignoring him a little bit. You know, that's why he's not getting the touches.
Why are they ignoring him? Because they don't trust him?
Well, this is it, Adrian. You've been a footballer, right? So you know what I'm talking about. When you're playing a small-sided game, someone's having a stinker, you're not giving him the ball. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. You're not giving him the ball because you think, well, he's going to lose it for me. So I don't think they are trusting as much as they did in the first phase of the season. I think our style has changed. I think teams versus us have changed their approach because we're now quite good. Post-Bayern, it's like we're the best team in the world. We can't just go out and play Arsenal. Let's stand still a little bit more. So we're playing against static teams and we're not creating that chaos, Adrian. So he's coming short and trying to be involved in the group. And then, of course, when we go wide and cross it, he's 2 yards off. Everyone's thinking, where's our centre forward? He's not there. Where is he? It's like, I'm thinking, well, you're 2 yards off. Could you make it? I'm never too sure. I wasn't a good runner myself. I'm never too sure. And so he's caught between two stools. And I think the team is caught as well.
Yeah.
I think they are. And I think psychologically, he's not going to turn around and say to people, give me the ball. He doesn't feel emboldened enough to give someone some stick for not playing it first time. So he's just trying to be part of the group. And we're saying for years now, we wanted a centre forward.
Yeah.
But it's not just having a centre forward that runs in behind. It's about, have you got the personality to say, give me that ball and give it to me now. And I'm not sure at this moment in time is he there.
And make the right decisions at the right time. I think his anticipation needs that little bit of sharpness. You know, against Aston Villa it was 1-1, around 88th minute. Declan Rice on the left wing puts a great ball across. He doesn't anticipate. If he gets across the front, the front post, probably taps it in and we win the game. Against Wolves in the first half, Saka on his right foot, great ball across, no one in the middle. That is where you want your number 9. I understand your point. If he is dropping deep, it's harder for him to then get up.
Yeah.
But there are situations where I'm watching where he hasn't dropped deep. He is on the shoulder and he's still not in those positions. So maybe it will come. I'm hopeful that it will come. I'm hopeful it's not a quality issue. Because we've seen it for Sporting. You know, he was always in the right place at the right time. But he knew his wingers. He knew when the ball was going to come. So maybe it is just learning the system, getting to know who you're playing with a little bit more.
Should we be worried? Because I think there are a lot of non-Arsenal fans that are saying to me, he's not any good, is he, Victor Gyokeres? Is he good enough for Arsenal? And I can't look them in the eye and say, yeah, he definitely is good enough, because we haven't seen that. Should we be concerned?
Well, he's had good moments. He started the year a little bit slow, and then he grew into it. I thought he did really well at Newcastle, and that was a good performance.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And I thought, okay, we've seen the level now. And the Burnley game was quite good. We've seen the level. Some of the home games in Europe, for Atletico Madrid, decent. Okay, now I can see it. That's okay. But since he's come back from injury, he's taken a step backwards, isn't he? And now the doubts are there. And I don't think the team is prepared to say, We are playing for one person. As a team, we have got a collective mentality that we all combine. Look at our top goal scorer list. It's like fours and threes, and we got like 5 players in that number. Whereas Man City's got one guy with like 17. You know, so and they are playing to one person.
Yes,
we are a collective team with an individual centre forward that wants service one way. And I'm not sure that's us. I think it's a style discussion over a quality discussion. The quality's been spotty, you know, at best. But I think stylistically, I think this team is happier with a Kai Havertz, a Jesus, a Marino, a combination player that arrives second phase into the box. And that's maybe who we are. So it's a big change for the team, for us fans watching. And I'm not sure which way we're going to go.
No, but look, things are going to evolve, aren't they, over the course of the season. So let's talk about some positive. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus back, Christian, looks good, looks really sharp, and obviously Saka delivered. I mean, he was the only player really that shone brightly, wasn't he, against Wolves? I mean, without Bukayo Saka, it's probably one of the sort of most embarrassing results of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is. I completely agree. I think it was the only shining light in that first half. I don't think it was his best game, but I hold Saka to a very high standard. Yeah. You know, a Saka's 6 out of 10 isn't someone else's 6 out of 10. Or I do want to see Saka back to his best. I have been a little bit worried since he's come back from his injury that maybe he looks a little bit less sharp. Maybe, you know, the way he cuts in and kind of beats a man hasn't quite looked like the Saka that we knew, but it's not going to straight away. And we are seeing glimpses, and I think that Wolves game, the fact that he said, you know, no one else is performing, give me the ball, I'm going to make stuff happen. Yeah. And it came from a corner that obviously hit the post. It was actually a great save. The keeper got a fingertip on it, otherwise it would have gone straight in. Yeah. And then, great ball in, obviously own goal in the last minute as well. And very good to see Gabriel Jesus back. I'm a massive Jesus fan. Yeah. When he came in, that start of the first 6 months in that 22-23 season, I thought he revolutionised the team. He was much better than I thought he was going to be. You know, I thought he was a good player at City, but when he came to Arsenal, I was like, this guy's brilliant. And then obviously went to the World Cup and got injured. So I want to see him somewhat back to his best. There's rumours that he's going to go in January. I don't want to see him go. I want to see him fight for his place. If you can stay fit and get 70-80% of your level from when you first came in, that's a player that I want in the squad.
There's no way he should be going in January. I don't think anybody should be really going in January. I was asked yesterday how I felt about Arsenal's title chances. Now, you referenced when we beat Bayern and Spurs, best team in the world. And I was, the last time I was sat in that seat, I said, we might just be the best team in the world. No, we didn't look like the best team in the world at the weekend. We haven't in the last few days, or few games rather. Where are we at? How confident are you now feeling in comparison to before, Clive? Are you now concerned in any way that this might not be the season that we all dreamed it would be?
I think we're going to have to go through a journey on this one, and I think we're going to end up being okay. Yeah. But what I will say is when we sort of lost our attackers, we let into our 8 fit defenders, and we were not letting people having shots on target either, right? Game on game. And I felt really confident what we were doing. And now we've got our attackers back, so we're all debating who should play and who's playing well. Right? But we lost a little bit of defensive stability and consistency, so we are conceding the odd goal at the wrong time. And so I feel much happier when an Arsenal team is not conceding anything to anybody.
Absolutely.
To give us chance to develop our attacks. And I don't feel as happy with a one-man attack with the guy number 7 on his back, because I've watched that for a couple of years, and everyone knows where to stop us. And so I'm now a little bit concerned about that, because I really like the diversity of play with the left-hand side. We've lost Trossard on that side. We lost a little bit of Eze on that side because we moved inside. So our left-hand side has changed, and maybe not as impactful it was in the hot part of the season. And the right-hand side, fortunately, stepped up against Wolves, but I don't want to see that anymore, Adrian, because I've seen it before when people stop that side. Where else are we going to win the game from? So it's very important we get that diversity back, and then I feel more confident.
We've got a 4 weeks training, which is a blessing for Mikel Arteta, Christian. What would you be doing if you were in Mikel Arteta's shoes? You got the full week to prep for Everton, to prep for this Christmas period. what would you like him to work on? How can this team improve on what we've seen in the last few games, which has absolutely been below the level that we expect?
Well, I think Saliba being back is huge. Yeah. We played against Bayern without Gabriel, and it was just Saliba at centre-back with Hincapié, and we were fine. You know, as soon as you take Saliba out of that team as well, and you've got Hincapié and Mosquera, or then Hincapié and Timber, it's completely different. So having Saliba back is huge. I don't think anyone knew he was going to be back for Wolves until he was actually on the team sheet. And then Arteta actually came out after the game and said, we didn't have anyone else, we had to risk him. I thought maybe not the smartest idea, because if he was to then go down and then be out for another month, especially with the period we've got coming up, it wouldn't have been it would have been terrible. But I would, if I was Arteta, I'd keep Saliba fit. You know, a couple of training sessions, nothing heavy, because I think his injury that he picked up was in training. Nothing heavy. Again, Declan Rice, keep him fit, because he's another one that if he goes down could hinder our season. I think Zubimendi needs a bit of a rest. He actually started against Club Brugge in the Champions League as well, when you maybe could have rested him. So just let the players breathe a little bit. You know, Sunday off, Monday off, and then they're probably back in training today. But nothing heavy.
No.
You know, just get the core principles back. Think about the chance creation. How are we going to get the ball to Gyokeres if he is going to start up front against Everton? Whether it's him, if it's Jesus, how are we going to score goals? How are we going to create chances? Because Everton will probably do a similar thing. You know, they might try and have a go a little bit more than Wolves did in that first half, but we will force them into a shape where they'll be sitting back for most of that game. Calafiori will be back for that game, which I think is huge for us. I think we miss Calafiori a lot. I know it's Wolves, so people didn't want to talk about it, but we did in terms of our build-up. But just go back to basics a little bit. We don't need to overcomplicate it. We're a very, very good team. We're good enough to beat Wolves comfortably. We're good enough to beat Everton comfortably. Don't let the nerves sneak in. Remind them, I know we've been there before. I know we finished second 3 years in a row, but this is a different Arsenal. We have a squad now. We need to have that winning mentality. So don't panic. You know, there's a lot of noise on social media this week. I've seen people saying it was a win that felt like a loss. That's absolutely ridiculous. We won the game. Okay, if anything to take from that is that we got the 3 points, just move on and
I think it's a morale-boosting win, because it gives you that feeling that maybe it is our year.
I hope the players see it that way.
I would have thought they would. They would know they got away with one. There'll be a bit of anger initially, but then it'll be like, okay, yeah, we can still win while we're playing poorly. So that's a good sign. Clive, anything to add?
Mate, I would take him on a big Christmas party. I would, absolutely, and get stuck in and have a really good time, because take the tension away. Just to remind yourselves, hold on a minute. You know, we're going to kick off maybe at the weekend. We might not even be top of the league, right? Because Man City I think they'll play before us, and so just relax. It's December, right? There's so many more things to do, and so I would get them to relax a lot more. I need to relax a lot more as well about this, and then go back to our core principles. And I think a lot of those principles are off the ball, because that goal against Wolves, Adrian, you saw it. The pressing on that. That's not us. That's not who we are. Let's get back to those core principles, particularly off the ball. Remind ourselves it's a long journey. No one's given us any medals in December. And just relax a little bit more, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
No, I agree. I said on another podcast, I said they should do like go temping bowling, or do a table tennis tournament, or some kind of Olympics, just something that's not football earlier in the week, just to
I shouldn't have suggested go and get drunk next, right? That's not going to help the high performance
these days. Well, how do we feel about Everton away then, Christian? Obviously they've been spanked by Spurs at their new stadium and by Newcastle, but they've also looked bright in periods. It does feel as if we might be catching them at a good time, though, doesn't it? I know that a couple of their key players are at the AFCON, and Dewsbury Hall, who's been an excellent player for them this year, is injured. So, you're confident?
Yeah, I think so.
Doesn't sound that confident, does he?
No, it's as confident as I can be right now. Like I said, I just said, I think we're good enough to go and beat Everton. I think Grealish maybe is a doubt. Dewsbury Hall, like you said, went off in their last game injured. And Jai is going to be missing, who I think is a fantastic player. I think he'll probably get a big move in the summer. But it is, again, and I say this every week now, it's a game you should be winning if you want to win the title. And comfortably. You should be able to go away to Everton. And we have in the last couple of years. We've gone away and got a result there. So Yeah, I'm confident. I think the only reservation comes from the recent performances. I haven't been filled with confidence in the recent performances, but I have seen it this season. I've seen great performances this season, home and away, against big and small teams. So go and play your football. Again, don't take the shackles off a little bit. The handbrake, I feel like the handbrake conversation is coming back a little bit. Just enjoy your football, do what you can do, and I think we'll be Everton.
I actually think my feeling ahead of this game is I want no shots on target. I want to go back to that version of Arsenal. Yeah. Like, let's give them absolutely nothing, because I think that will give us more confidence than maybe a wild 3-2 win, 2-2 draw. I just think win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, giving them nothing is probably the sort of injection that the team needs.
Yeah, I think if you think back to the Sunderland, Villa, Chelsea away games, in none of those games did I feel that we played okay in patches. Sunderland second half were really good.
Yes.
But I want to go back to a really tough performance. I really like the Newcastle away performance. I love that. I know we scored 2 set-piece goals, but the whole performance first half was fluid, it was strong. I really like that game, and I want to get back to that. And I'm with you, Adrian. I'm happy when I look at the old data and it says no shots on target. That's when I'm at my happiest, you know. So let's just sort that out first. Let's get back to those core principles and play from there. And I think the team feel more confident when we're like that. Yeah. I want to get us back to be a bit more compact. These are first world problems, right? We've won a lot of games this year. Let's not over dramatise things. No. A really intense period that we've got through with injury, with lots of unsettled teams, unsettled structures, unsettled midfields, unsettled defences, and lots of availability in attack, and we're trying to do it all and get it perfect, and we're not gonna. No. But it would be nice to get an away win, because we don't want to go to 4th away game in the Premier League without a win.
Yeah, we haven't won enough of those big games in the Premier League against our immediate rivals, have we? I think that much is fair to say. Not that Everton are an immediate rival, but I do think it'd be a statement win. How do we feel about the Carabao Cup quarter-final then? It's on the horizon. Tough game, I think, with Crystal Palace. A team that don't rotate, so you wonder how tired they might be. How do you feel about it? The possibility of winning this competition, of this tie?
This competition we should be aiming to win. I think as a confidence boost it would do a lot. The finals end of February, start of March, so you can win it before the Premier League even ends. I think Gabriel Jesus saw that fixture and went, I need to be fit for that. Yeah. He scored a hat-trick in that fixture last season. It was absolutely great. Obviously we then went away to them in the league, and I think he scored 2 in that game. So it is a chance to rotate, but even when we rotate now, you're still bringing in quality players. Jesus starts, Martinelli starts, maybe Nwaneri starts, even an Norgard, Ben White would have started. So a game we should go to win. We're at home, Crystal Palace, who have been hot and cold this season. Obviously they've got a lot of quality. But again, at home we should be aiming to win every single game.
They were hard to create against in the game, in the league, weren't they? They were really well organised. And of course, it's a difficult decision, Clive, for Arteta, because it's a cup quarter-final. We really need silverware, yet and you know that Palace will play their strongest team. So how much would he rotate?
Well, I'm not sure how much he can rotate at the back, and that's the worry. True. It's an extra game for those defenders that we need fit for some big games coming up. Villa, for example, we need them fit for that. Hey, look, this competition doesn't feel right to me anymore.
It's not floating your boat.
It's not. And the reason why, the Champions League has changed. So we get 2 extra games in January, and we have a potential 2-leg semi-final in January. So you're talking 8-9 games in January, and which with no midweeks. We just watched the team at the weekend with no midweeks off for 3 months, and it's not great, is it? You're seeing fatigued, attritional football. I want to win the trophy. I want to win the trophy, but can we just not play the games? It doesn't work like that, does it? And I just think that the competition is set up wrong for a team like Arsenal in the Champions League. It doesn't work for us. I know it's very snobbish to say that, but those extra games really do matter. The Newcastle semi-final last year cost us a lot. It really did cost us a lot of injury. So I've got that scar in my mind. But if we win the game against Palace and go to the semi-final and go to Wembley and win, just delete this part off the podcast.
so big time, Clive. You've changed, you know. I mean, we have got games every 3 days. Like, we know it's a tough schedule. But, and I'm here, and again, non-Arsenal fans are telling me, but I don't want to hear Arsenal moaning about injuries. You've got the deepest squad in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like, there's no excuse this year. And I can't really argue with that.
Yeah, no, I see what they mean. They're still human at the end of the day. You know, they're still going to be tired. There's still going to be injuries. But yeah, we have got the deepest squad in the league. We have got one of the best squads in the Premier League, and people say in Europe. But you still need to go and win your games at the end of the day. You know, no one cares about our excuses anymore. I've said at the start of this season, there's no excuses. We have the squad for it. Go and play a football. Go and win the games. It doesn't matter if it's congested. It's congested for everyone. You know, a lot of teams are still in all competitions, still challenging on all fronts, and a lot of those teams don't have the squad that we do. So there are two sides to look at it. They are human. They will get injuries. They will get tired. But you have the facilities around you now to challenge on all fronts. So
Definitely.
go and do it.
You gonna make any excuses?
No. Well, the thing is that we're so focused on injury and rotation because we've got the scars for it, haven't we? And Man City are not rotating at the moment.
No.
They're playing the same team, I think 4 or 5 times in a row, same defence. And no one's looking at them thinking they look tired. So we just have to think this through a little bit more. I mean, I'm cautious. I know I am, right? So I just want to see us get what we deserve. This group of players deserve medals.
Of course they do, yeah.
And all I want is them to get what they deserve, you know? Yeah. And what's going to stop us, right? Uncontrolled events, right? Either us doing silly stuff on the pitch, our discipline's got better, us maybe not picking the right team for the right game, or us having injuries at the wrong moment to the wrong people. That's what the biggest fears are. So when we see those things manifest, we all get tense, right? So hence why we all need to go on a big Christmas do, enjoy ourselves, and remember it's just football, and all it takes is 2 goals to hit the back of the net at the right time, and we're all going to feel good again.
It would be a genuine disaster if this team didn't win anything. There's too much quality. They've been through too much. Second 3. We can't finish second 4 times in a row. It just cannot happen.
Well, it can.
It's never happened before. I don't know personally if I could see that Premier League table at the start of next season say 0 points and think, even as a fan, how do I get myself up to go again? I can't imagine how that would feel for players. So they must this season.
But
must.
Isn't that one of the reasons why we should feel quite proud of this team, that they have picked themselves up off the deck? Over and over again, and really the standards are still very, very high. I know that we're picking holes in it at the moment because we're not in good form. But this team's got a bit of spirit about it. Goodness me,
it has, and they've re-signed contracts to say we're not giving up on this year.
That's true.
They're not leaving in the summer. They're all re-signed again. Everybody's there. So even though we are concerned, which we all are. The players are thinking, right, this is the start of something new. You know, we've had a reset. We've got 8 new players in the group. We've got a new sporting director. The manager signed his contract a year ago, and all the top players are signed. They're not thinking this is the last chance. They're thinking this is the first chance. So we have to change our mindset to this. And they're looking for a period of winning, of a 3-year period of winning, and it starts this year.
Yeah, and I think we've got to get our heads around that as supporters as well. Because inside the ground the other day, there was a lot of tension. I didn't think it sort of transmitted its way onto the pitch as well. Are we going to have a happy Christmas, Christian? We've got 2 home games, tricky ones that we've dropped points against in the past with Brighton and Villa coming to Emirates. We've got to play differently against Aston Villa, surely. I watched the Liverpool-Brighton game and I wasn't impressed with Brighton, even though they can always create chances. I think we can cut loose and score goals against them. But the Villa game that's a toughie. Yeah,
2 teams that have actually been bogey teams at the Emirates. You know, Villa, famously that 1 loss in the last 18, the 2-0 with Leon Bailey scoring. And we owe Unai Emery...
Big time,
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we have to win that game. I actually don't think we were bad in the away game. I think a draw might have been fair. We were missing both our centre-backs. And I think at the Emirates with Saliba back, with hopefully a little bit more rest before that game, we should be aiming to win that. And Brighton, like I said, again, a bogey team. I've been to watch Arsenal versus Brighton at the Emirates 3 or 4 times over the past 5 years, and we've lost.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you know, most of the 2 or 3 of those games. So, again, a game we should be winning. They have quality. Yeah. Every team in the Premier League, even Wolves, have quality. We might not have been seeing it in certain games, but they're in the Premier League for a reason. You can't write off any team. but Arsenal are good enough to win any game.
Of course,
so we must.
And Gabriel Magalhaes might be back, hopefully for that. And I think that's big, isn't it? Gabriel and Saliba with Rice and Raya, that's the cornerstone of the team, no doubt about it. Very quickly, on Villa, Unai Emery has won his duels with Mikel Arteta, I think, more than he's lost them for sure. I think Mikel's probably got to look at that, hasn't he, ahead of this game and think, well, this isn't working. What we've tried against Villa isn't working.
Yeah. I mean, Adrian, what did we try against Villa in the away game? I mean, we were okay, but it was quite clear to me that Villa used their wide areas a lot. They rolled their centre mids inside. They blocked the middle. And we didn't recognise that we needed to attack those wide spaces where their fullback disappeared from. If they're going to use their attacking fullbacks, we've got to make sure we attack those areas and make their 4 centre mids think about their defensive side of the game in wide areas to get them out there to double up on us. So we need a plan for this team because they're a smart team with smart players, with people that can finish. You know, Ollie Watkins' movement stretches us about and unsettles us, and Rodgers in behind, McGinn in behind. These are good players, you know, physical players. These are good players. But that game hurt at Villa. Yeah. And so the team talk should be easy for that one, shouldn't it? It should be really easy. But I think it's going to be a really good atmosphere. I'm already looking forward to it. Yeah. We owe them one. It's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's time.
Definitely. So, right, let's add it up. How many points we get? Just before we sort of wrap things up today. We've got Everton. Obviously, the Carabao Cup is an aside. We've got those 3 games over Christmas, 2 at home. What's acceptable, Christian?
I think it has to be 9 out of 9.
9.
Especially with the form City are in. I don't think City are playing the best football, but they're getting results. You know, I watched them against Palace. Palace hit the bar, hit the post, but City are winning. You know, they conceded 4 against Fulham. Fulham, they still won the game. Conceded 2 against Leeds at home, still win the game. So I think they're going to continue on that run. I think January scares me a little bit for Manchester City as well, because I think they probably will go and drop another 100, 150 million like they did last January. Yeah. Shore up the defence a little bit more, maybe buy a right back, and just, you know, add some quality to that team. So I think we just need to do our job, you know, and looking at those games, Everton away should be 3 points. Brighton at home, Villa at home should be 6 points. So for me, it's 9 out of 9.
Yeah, I think we're going to aim for that. Obviously, we are going to aim for that. Yeah. And I want to see it now, you know, because I can explain away Chelsea, you know, because they were very much on it that day. Sunderland were courageous against us, you know, really courageous, and they deserved maybe something out of it. Villa was unfortunate. Maybe that's down to us a little bit, and there's the run we were on. But I can't explain away the next 3. I can't. We got to be turning around here, resetting, and saying, okay, Everton has got to be beaten. Same for Brighton and Villa. It could go 50-50. A draw at worst for me. But we need to win. Adrian, you said it. We need to win more big games. Yes. Because people don't quite trust us yet. You know, we haven't beaten Liverpool. We haven't beaten City. Villa are next there. We haven't beaten Chelsea. So people need to trust us. So you only get trust by winning the big games. Right, and that's what's coming up.
Absolutely. We've got some big games coming up at Christmas, and hopefully we can do the business. That's all we've got time for on today's Inside Gooners. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to Clive and to Christian for their input today, and we'll see you soon.